just on Sam, I mean, he's a young man, he's 20 years of age, good kid. How's he coping? I mean, it's obviously difficult for him dealing with all the external noise. How is he mentally with you?
He's okay. But there's still an element of uncertainty, so until that's resolved, then it sits up in the air. So I'm sure that we're all looking forward to finding out what that is, and so we can move on. And Sam just wants to know what that is, so we can move on.
What advice have you given to him, Voss? What advice can you give to him in this kind of situation?
There's no real necessarily advice. I mean, at the start it was all about accepting what has happened, and he's done that. So and now when you're at this point, it's we just have to be patient, and Chris and KT will get that soon enough, and we'll find out soon enough.
Does it feel like a witch hunt when it keeps dragging on and on and on?
No, we have to respect that there's a process in place. So we haven't shied away that as a football club, and we understand that there's due process and needs to be made, and all things need to be considered. It's quite a sensitive matter, and needs to be dealt as such.
So I suppose you're no closer to knowing when he might be able to play again?
Oh, well, hopefully we are a lot closer, but we sort of thought we were pretty close last week, and it's led into this week. So we just have to be patient, and as I said, the powers to be will go through that, and we'll find out soon enough.
Such a good first fortnight, but the last couple of weeks have been a bit frustrating. What did you make of the performance on the weekend?
Well, last week against Essendon, our contest was pretty disappointing. So I thought we corrected a lot of areas. We still think we want to improve in a few areas within the contest, but generally it was pretty consistent. The team had huge effort. It was a very taxing game physically, but we walk away with Geelong getting it more right, and we don't walk away with 4 points. So we still realise that there's a few things that we have to make sure that we improve, and have sort of fallen away from our game in the last couple of weeks. So we just make sure that we train that, get it right, and we face North this week and try and rectify some of those things.
Given that in the past we've talked about the ruck being one of the reasons why you might not have performed at your optimal level. You were okay in the ruck and you won the clearances and the contested ball, as you sort of mentioned there. Why couldn't you score?
First to take you up on the first point, I just don't subscribe to the ruck thought. We seriously overrate the hit out side of things, and while you don't want to be too big a discrepancy there, the ball spends more time on the ground, so we've got a chance to be able to compete if we get our contested mode right, and I felt like we got that more right than what we did the week before, and so hit outs become a factor when you don't have that right. We clearly would like Paddy within the team. We understand his importance to us as a team, but I just don't subscribe to the hit out theory in terms of that's our biggest issue right now. What it can give you is a chance to be able to maybe get a little bit of clean ball out of there, but it doesn't always guarantee it. But we would like to finish off our work a lot more than what we have. That's one area that we feel like we've died down in the last 2 or 3 weeks, is that we haven't been able to finish our plays or complete our plays, and whether that's through midfield or whether that's going inside 50 or finishing our goals. So it's an area we've just got to continue to work on and get better at.
Is that a skills thing?
Well, it is a skill thing, yeah. It's certainly not without practice, though. So we've been practicing a lot and putting it in training, and we've seen it in games. But like sometimes when the scoreboard isn't ticking over, we dominated large parts of that game. We're quite happy with large portions of that game, and maybe become a little bit discouraged to the fact that we couldn't get the scoreboard ticking over. And Geelong did really well to be able to deny us the scoreboard and those opportunities, and then Geelong got a few going the other way, and that made it a bit more challenging for us. But certainly completing our plays is something that we just need to make sure we give some attention to.
It can be a tough and fickle game, as you've been around the traps for a long time. A lot of external noise after the game. Some people, former players, suggesting that the recruits have been a failure after 5 games. Do you laugh at that kind of criticism, or do you take it on board and say, fair enough? What do you say when people say it's not working?
Yeah, I do a little bit because it's just not enough a sample size, and we know what we've got him here for. We don't play a short game with these things. It's a long game that we play, and they remain critically important players for us. And I think we heard a lot of comments about how important they were to us in the first 2 or 3 weeks also. In 2 weeks, that's changed. So we don't live in that space, and we know the performance we want from those particular guys. But I think as a collective, we've got to improve in a couple of areas, and I named one of them. In terms of our ball movement and how we move the ball and how we finish our plays.
So you're happy with where they're at and where they're going?
I think we've got a large portion of our group that need to improve, and but to single out, I think that's largely premature.
Is Wingard fully fit? He seems to be struggling a bit at the moment.
No, he's fully fit.
Is it disheartening? We talk about the external opinions, but when fans are sort of walking out of the gates and bemoaning, we can't score and this isn't the Port Adelaide side that we want after 5 rounds, when just 3 weeks ago they weren't saying that. What do you say to those fans?
Oh, we encourage passionate supporters. Port Adelaide fans, members, we want them to be passionate, and so we understand that that's what if they want to make comments about that, that's 100% okay with us. They're entitled to, but we've got to be making sure that the next performance we put out is much better. We improved in a lot of areas, especially in our contested area, and I thought the boys really put their bodies on the line for the cause, but there was a couple of little things that let us down, and if we get those right, then this turns around pretty quickly. And I think everyone's also talking about the competition and just how even it is and what the actual ladder looks like right now. And to sort of think that every week you walk out and you get the game on your terms is disrespecting the competition, I think. It's a very even competition. You're off a little bit in only just a few areas. The game can go against you, and right now we're just not getting the right things often enough, and that's something we'll just continue to work with.
Obviously, we love passionate fans. Everyone loves it. There's some images that have come out of a fight within the ground. Is that disappointing to see?
We don't like to hear about those things. I mean, we want to make sure that we're providing as good a family environment as we possibly can. Our job is to get the result on the field. We didn't get it, so we've just got to look forward to North this week.
I know it's hard to know whether or not they are Port fans or not, but if it is a Port fan or Geelong fan or anyone, should they be banned from coming back to the footy, do you think?
I don't know the specifics, so for me to speculate would be pretty difficult for me, considering I don't necessarily know the incident you're talking about.
Hamish?
Just on Lindsay Thomas, if he was to be suspended, how much of a blow is that for him so early, in his comeback for Adelaide?
It is a blow. Probably signified a little bit of our intent on the night, and he got an incident wrong. I think there's been a few that have been guilty of that. If he had that contest again, he'd probably approach it slightly differently, but he got it wrong in this instance. But to see him get his first game, he was so pumped, and he was just wanted to do the absolute right thing by the team, and he got one a little bit wrong. So, certainly it was fantastic to see him running out, and it's a mild setback for him.
So you just put your arm around him and...
I think so. I mean, that's what we do, and as I said, he'll I don't know what the adjudication will be, or in terms of how many weeks he actually spends on the sideline. But his intent was the right thing. He wanted to put his body on the line. First game for the football club, want to do the right thing. Got it a little bit wrong, but I meant it's a minor setback for him.
Is that Hamish split his head open there, right?
Yeah, I mean, amazing courage, really. I mean, we sort of thought that we might have lost him for the game, but the reports come back that it was merely a split head. He's got a tough head, so but he'd come back and just some of the efforts he had post that were fantastic and just led the way, and he's been that way the whole year really, and to have a leader like him to be able to cop a blow like that and come back on the field as makes others walk taller around him.
And Ollie?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So just had a little bit of a niggle there, and obviously his ankle's swollen up a little bit, but he's fine.